The film begins with a girl named Ava recording a video on a rooftop late at night, explaining that if someone finds this advent calendar, they must follow its rules or they will die, a warning whose true meaning we only understand at the end. Now, the story jumps 24 days back to Eva, who has been disabled and confined to a wheelchair for the past 4 years. She wasn't always this way, as she was once a joyful dancer until a car accident changed everything. Eva has no real family except her father, who suffers from Alzheimer's and barely remembers he even has a daughter, and he has remarried a woman who dislikes Eva completely. Even after everything she's been through, Eva refuses to give up on life. She works at an insurance company, but her boss is a cruel man who constantly yells at her, and she can't quit because she has no other choice, silently drowning in frustration while pretending she's fine. Today is Eva's birthday, and when she calls her father, her stepmother answers and coldly says he remembers nothing before hanging up. After work, Eva's friend Sophie comes over to celebrate, bringing a wooden German advent calendar used to count the 24 days leading to Christmas, and on the back of the box, it says, "Whoever breaks the rules will die." Eva laughs it off, and since it's already December 4th, she opens 4 doors. Inside the first is a chocolate with a German message Sophie translates, 3 rules. If she eats the first chocolate, she must eat all of them. She must follow every rule, and if she tries to get rid of the calendar, she will be killed. Rules they both dismiss as a joke meant to scare children. Eva finds all this childish, so she eats the first chocolate, then opens the second door and feels strange because inside is another chocolate, her father's favorite. When she opens the third door, she finds a card with German writing, which Sophie translates as a message saying that to end your pain, you must eliminate the source of that pain. Eva then tries to open the 4th door, but it won't open because it only unlocks after midnight, though Sophie thinks the lock is broken, as she never believed the calendar's story anyway, and only bought it because it looked attractive. The 2 friends talk about life, and at midnight, they hear a voice from the calendar saying, "It's time to open it," which creeps them out. Eva opens the 4th door and finds another chocolate with a wrapper saying Jesus told the disabled to stand up and walk, something that hurts both of them because of Eva's condition. Sophie leaves late at night and Eva, now alone, eats her father's favorite chocolate. Suddenly, she gets a call from her father wishing her happy birthday, something he hasn't done in years, but the call drops and she can't reach him again. The next day at work, her boss hires a new girl, takes half of Eva's clients, and threatens to fire her if she can't keep up. That evening, Sophie arrives, and Eva tells her the calendar might be magical because her father somehow called her. Sophie worries the chocolates may be drugged since she actually stole it from somewhere, but they still go on a double date where Sophie's date Hunter is a kind man, but Boris is rude and repeatedly insults Eva for being handicapped. Later, Sophie and Hunter leave to spend some quality time, trapping Eva with Boris. He then offers to drive her home, but stops the car near a jungle and touches her inappropriately. Eva tries to fight back, and in anger, Boris throws her, along with her wheelchair, out of the car and leaves her on the roadside. Eva breaks down crying, and furious screams that she wishes Boris would die, and at that same moment, we see the advent calendar stirring at her home as a tiny toy car, identical to Boris's, rolls out. Eva's dog grabs the toy car, tossing it around, while elsewhere Boris, who had parked in a deserted spot, finds his real car flipped over, leading to his death. The next morning, while Eva is in a park, Sophie calls to tell her Boris died last night, leaving Eva deeply unsettled, and moments later, Eva receives a message from Boris's phone apologizing and sending her a link. When Sophie arrives, Eva tells her how Boris tried to assault her, and Sophie opens the link, discovering a trading app that she installs, giving Eva money from Boris. Nearby, a guy sits on a bench, and Sophie urges Eva to go talk to him. But Eva hesitates, saying, why would a man be interested in a girl in a wheelchair? That night, when the date changes, Eva opens the next door of the calendar and finds a heart-shaped chocolate. She doesn't eat it, but keeps it. The next day at a restaurant, she spots the same guy from the park and slips the heart-shaped chocolate into his drink. And once he drinks it, the magic takes effect. He approaches her, shakes her hand, talks with her for hours, and even walks her home, leaving Eva genuinely happy. At midnight, she opens another door and finds a clock-shaped chocolate, eats it instantly, and suddenly her phone explodes with notifications as 4 more calendar doors open, meaning 4 days have passed. And when she returns to work, her boss fires her for being absent all those days. Eva had no idea 4 whole days had passed, and devastated, She returns home and calls William, the same guy she met at the restaurant, and tells him everything about the advent calendar. She starts suspecting the chocolates might actually be drugged, and William warns her to stop eating anything from it. After he leaves, Eva studies the chocolate wrappers and, placing them together, discovers they form a company logo, which she takes as a sign and buys shares from that same company through the trading app on her phone. At midnight, the advent calendar opens on its own, and Eva's dog, almost as if possessed, approaches it, eats a bone-shaped chocolate, and walks out as the door unlocks by itself. The next morning, Eva learns she made a profit from the shares but can't find her dog until she hears barking outside and discovers him covered in blood, finding her boss's locket in his mouth. Terrified, she tries calling her boss but gets no answer and begins to fear that everyone who died did so because of the advent calendar. She lays out all the wrappers and realizes she never ate the one saying Jesus told the cripple to stand and walk, so she eats it hoping it will heal her, only to pass out and wake up in a hospital where William, actually a nurse, explains she was found unconscious holding the calendar. She remembers walking again briefly before the magic faded. After being discharged, Eva opens another door but gives the chocolate to her father, who becomes lucid long enough to remember her and embrace her before warning that every blessing from the calendar demands a price, and if a sacrifice isn't made, she will be the one to die. A little while later, her father slipped back into his old state, and the next day Eva opened another door of the advent calendar and found the same chocolate that once helped her stand on her feet, but this time she didn't eat it at home. She went straight to William. She told him that the last time she ate one, she could feel her legs again, and right in front of him she swallowed the chocolate, instantly feeling its effect while William helped her, as she proudly said she could feel everything. The feeling didn't last long, but the brief hope filled her with joy. Later, she went to the swimming pool, something she loved deeply because it was the one thing she could still do well, and there she met a guy named Anton, who clearly liked her. When William, who had dropped her off, headed back to the hospital, he noticed her keys still in the car and, at Eva's request, left them by her door, but as he returned to his vehicle, the door opened on its own. Confused, he stepped inside and saw all the wrappers laid out on the table, realizing the heart-shaped chocolate had been eaten the same day they met. Looking at the advent calendar, he saw its little figurine moving, and when he reached for it, he caught a glimpse of a terrifying entity. Spooked by a silent phone call, he tried to leave, but, worried for Eva, took the calendar with him and threw it into a pond, breaking the rule. The atmosphere shifted as a monstrous figure rose from the water, dragged William under and killed him. At the same time, Eva was teleported from the pool into the pond, where she saw William's body but couldn't save him. When she climbed out, she saw the entity holding the advent calendar and walking toward her before everything went dark. And when she woke up, she found herself back home with the calendar lying intact on the floor. A little while later, someone knocks at her door, and when Eva checks, it's Anton. He came to return all her things because she had left them at the pool. Eva is furious and terrified, telling him to leave immediately, and he walks away, confused by her behavior. That same evening, she opens the 17th door and instantly eats the chocolate inside, desperate and grieving over William's death, hoping it might somehow bring him back. After eating it, she hears strange noises from her bathroom, and when she enters, she sees a bright light glowing from the mirror. As she looks closer, she sees her own house, specifically the day William visited her. This was her chance to save him. She calls out to him again and again, but he can't hear her. Eva tries to write a warning on the mirror, but instead of saving him, she only frightens him, pushing him toward throwing the advent calendar into the pond. We already know he died because of that, and Eva couldn't save him. Depressed, she moves to the next day, meaning the calendar will give her something else to eat. When she opens the door, a knife with a dog symbol drops out, meaning she must kill her dog. Horrified, she throws the knife away, but a hand suddenly grabs her throat, forcing her to obey the rules. The next day, when Sophie arrives, she sees blood everywhere and finds Eva terrified, holding the knife beside her dead dog. Sophie stays until Eva calms down, then checks the house at midnight when she hears the advent calendar making noises. Since Eva is asleep, Sophie opens the next door, finds a candy, and hides it without eating. When Eva wakes up and sees the calendar open, she asks Sophie for whatever came out of it, but Sophie gives her a regular chocolate instead. Eva feels no change. Sophie decides to take her to a remote hunting cabin, but during the trip, Eva remembers the day of the car accident, Sophie's mistake that left her paralyzed forever. She blames Sophie, but she never wanted to harm her. That night, when the calendar releases another candy, Eva tells Sophie that this advent calendar grants people's deepest wishes, and if Eva eats it, Sophie will die and Eva will be healed. But she refuses to sacrifice her friend and asks Sophie to keep it. Sophie takes it and goes to Hunter's room, where they were about to get intimate, and she secretly gives him the candy she had hidden from Eva the night before. Outside, Eva sits thinking about what will happen next, when she notices a hidden compartment in the box. Inside is a painting made by a German artist. Suddenly, she hears noises from Sophie's room as the calendar's entity kills Sophie first and then Hunter. The creature then offers Eva the candy, and with no choice left, she eats it. The next morning, Eva stands on her own feet, completely healed, while Sophie is gone forever, proving that every wish demands a sacrifice. Eva travels to Germany with the calendar and the painting to meet the artist who created it. When she shows him the artwork, he is shocked. He doesn't believe he ever painted himself killing his own family, insisting he has been blind for 5 years and his family is alive. But when he touches the painting, he sees visions of murdering them. The truth is, anyone bound to this advent calendar receives a choice on the 24th day. They can claim their greatest wish, like Eva being healed or the painter regaining sight, or they can sacrifice it and reverse everything, bringing back everyone who died. The painter chose his family over his sight, so he remembers nothing. He refuses to believe Eva and sends her away. As she leaves, another door opens, revealing a drum, symbolizing her co-worker, who must now be killed brutally or the entity will come for her instead. At that moment, the girl was in her basement, but as Eva twisted the doll's arms and legs, the same thing began happening to that woman in real life. The next day, when Eva opened another door on the calendar, she found a chocolate and a gun, instantly understanding she now had to kill her own father. With no other choice, she went to his house, but to remove her stepmother from the way, she gifted her the advent calendar. Since the woman disliked Eva, she threw it into the fire, causing the entity to emerge and kill her on the spot. In the end, Eva killed her father too. Only 1 day remained. In her final hours, Eva invited Anton to her home, spending intimate time with him because she had nothing left to lose, and she told him everything about the cursed calendar. The film then returns to the moment where it all began. Eva on a rooftop recording a message, warning that whoever finds this calendar after her must follow every rule. She places her phone inside it and dances one last time, knowing that tomorrow she will forget everything and become paralyzed again, as the past 24 days will reverse completely. When the final door opens, she takes the candy, but Anton runs in, telling her she now has a choice. If she eats it, time resets 24 days back and everyone who died returns. If she doesn't, this timeline stays. She remains healed, but the dead stay dead. To prove it, he throws the box off the building and nothing happens. Eva screams in anger, trapped between impossible choices. We aren't shown what she chooses, but in the final scene, a father comes to Eva for help. He is now the calendar's next victim, and the cycle continues. Tell me in the comments what you would do if you ever found a cursed Christmas calendar like this. Would you risk everything for your deepest wish, or run before it destroys you? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more thrilling stories.